Hello, everyone. Welcome to Boss Radio Live. Again, welcome to Boss Radio Live, where he is the boss of me. I am your host, NJ, and I have an amazing guest. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited for her today because I think this is a great topic that we're going to be discussing, you guys. I have Dr. Amy Novotny with me. Dr. Amy, as I'll be calling her during the show. And I'm just like super excited and cannot wait. So, you guys share the episode, send it to a friend, tell them to hop on because this is going to be a really, really good one. It's Boss Radio Live with NJ, your three-dimensional podcast. Baltimore, Maryland. I love my city. Wow. You have to have balance.
Mother's Day extravaganza event being held by LUC Lois Button Culver.
Come meet me today at the Spirit Fest. I want to hear what you have to say. Again, welcome to Boss Radio Live. As I said, I'm your host, NJ, and today we have Dr. Amy Novotny, who is an entrepreneur. She's a doctor of physical therapy, a breathing and pain specialist, speaker, and so much more. So much to Dr. Amy. But it is going to be a really great show. So make sure you guys share the episode and be sure to like the Boss Radio NJ Facebook page, you guys, and subscribe to the show on YouTube. So you guys, I don't know if you have heard of Dr. Amy. If you have not, you're about to hear a little about her before we jump right into it. This is Dr. Amy. Dr. Amy Novotny is an entrepreneur, breathing and pain specialist, author, and founder of the PABR Institute. With a background in orthopedics, sports, and chronic pain, Dr. Amy began looking for a more naturalistic form of treatment to help her clients when traditional methods fell short. Her extraordinary life and experiences led her to develop a treatment which incorporates breathwork and doesn't just address symptoms, but instead helps people reduce and eliminate pain, stress, anxiety, orthopedic surgeries, sleep issues, and even the need for some medications. Along with this incredible method, Dr. Amy has authored 2 Amazon #1 best-selling books. Dr. Amy is truly a hero to the many people she has helped to transition from a painful and restricted life to gain control over their bodies and achieve a higher quality of life. You guys, welcome to the show, Dr. Amy. Hi, Dr. Amy. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's so nice to meet you, NJ. So thank you so much for having me on.
I'm so excited to have you on, and I really do want to hop right into it because the topic that we're going to be talking about and what I was mentioning in the intro for you, as far as pain and being able to help people relieve pain, relieve stress, being able to help people really get past that to have like just a better quality of life is so important. It's so important. And so I'm excited to discuss that. So we're going to hop right into it and hopefully you can hear me well.
I can. Yeah.
Great. We're going to hop into it. So I want to know, how did you even get into this, helping people get out of pain and helping them with stress through this breath work that we're going to be talking about? How did that start?
So I was, at the time, I had completed my doctorate in physical therapy. I was working as a physical therapist, dealing with sports orthopedics, chronic pain, vestibular dizziness issues, different nervous system issues. And I was training. I decided I wanted to become a marathon runner, and I realized I was faster than I thought I would be. And I was training to qualify for the Boston Marathon. And I was on a treadmill and I was running 8 miles at a time, 3 times a week, long run on the weekends. And I started playing with my breathing mechanics, my body position, and all of a sudden I could get off the treadmill after an 8 mile run and I didn't have to foam roll. I didn't have to stretch. I didn't have to scrape. I didn't have to do all those things that I typically had to do. I didn't have the achiness. I didn't have the pain. And it felt fabulous. Like, wow, what happened here? Like, I'm not doing all the things that in my profession I was trained to tell people to do and I was telling people to do. I stopped them. And I realized at the time that I had stumbled on a way to calm down the fight or flight nervous system so that my body just became this free flowing machine. And as I was running 8 miles fast on a treadmill, it didn't get ramped up where everything tightened up afterwards. And so I started implementing this and trying it out on patients that were coming to see me for physical therapy.
Wow.
They started getting better faster, faster than traditional healing timeframes, faster than what doctors were expecting. So then I had the top neurologist in the Phoenix, Arizona area start sending me his patients who other people couldn't get better well. And so I started implementing this process. I was developing it at the time. I started implementing it on those patients and they were getting better faster than you would expect. So I kept getting more and more people. And so then people would fly in from other places around the country. Doctors would come see me. And so at one point then I was hired to travel around the world with a older photographer and his girlfriend to keep him out of a couple major surgeries, a knee replacement surgery and a rotator cuff tear surgery. So I did that. And then when I came back, I decided to start a business doing this.
Wow.
So that way I could reach other people. And that's when the stress component came in because people started telling me, wait a second, you helped my pain, but I'm calmer. My stress levels went down. So that's when I started exploring, okay, how does this help people with stress too? And how can I get this out there and help even more people? And so, of course, COVID hits and we have a pandemic and my physical office shut down. So then I switched to doing coaching on Zoom. And so
Okay.
now I do this with people all over the world. I coach them on how to calm down their nervous system, teach them what they need to do to themselves to get themselves calm, get them out of surgeries. I mean, major surgeries. Do this with people all over the world. Get them out of stress. Help people with different forms of abuse. They're working with their psychologists or psychiatrists that help them with the body component that stores those emotions. And so that has landed me here.
Wow. And I think one of the really great things is the first thing that you said, which you were talking about how you discovered this when you were, working with your own body and running. And you're just not, so for you guys who are like, oh, okay, oh, she runs, she jogs. No. No, Dr. Novotny, is it 100 you've done? When I saw that, I was like, what?
I know.
That is
I was
amazing.
doing that, I used to joke that I would rather run the 100 miles instead of sitting in a car for 100 miles. I know, it's a little crazy.
It's probably a lot more scenic. You get to feel the air.
Yeah.
So yeah. So for you guys that are hearing this is something she's doing because I can imagine after running 100-mile marathon what somebody's body would be going through. So this is probably a really great method for what you do. But even outside of that, when you were talking about the physical therapy piece, I am actually a person who went to physical therapy and it didn't really work. It helped, but it didn't really work. I still had the pain.
Mm-hmm.
And so can you break down what is going on with this breath work you're talking about? How is that helping that?
Yeah. So a lot of things we seek for help, they're external processes done to the body. So when you go get physical therapy, someone works on you, has you do a strengthening exercise, a stretching exercise. They may massage, do some soft tissue work. They may work on balance, but they're working on the exterior. Same with chiropractors. Same with doing dry needling. All of that is something that's applied to you. And so what I realized was, how do we access people from the inside? How do I get the nervous system to change? So it tells the muscles to behave differently. The muscles then behave differently on the joints. Voila, you can get rid of some impingement, pain goes away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really why I realized, okay, we have to make a change in how we approach people. So there's a lot of different type of breath work out there. There's box breathing, Bucheko, there's Wim Hof, there's all these different types out there. And a lot of those types of breath work focus on changing the rhythm of breathing. So you hold for a count of 7, 8, 1 or 4, 4, 4. Like they play with the numbers. What I work on is completely different than traditional breath work. What I'm looking at is how are your mechanics for your way of breathing, and how can we change them so that your mechanics help calm you down. So in order to change your mechanics of the way you breathe, we have to change your body position. So when I talk about breath work, it's not really breath work. It's the magic of putting your breath work with your body position to make something different in your body, which is calming down your nervous system. So we have to look at, how do you position your rib cage? Because if your rib cage is positioned a certain way where your chest is out, shoulders are back, and you're sucking up your gut, that's going to overstimulate your fight or flight nervous system. So your muscles are going to guard in your body, and it's going to be hard for you to let go of pain because the muscles are pulling on the joints, and the joints don't want to move because the muscles are holding them in a state for you to fight, flee, or freeze. But if you bring the rib cage down in front and you stop the back muscles from over contracting on the fight or flight nervous system, that's going to give your body permission to release the muscles. When you bring your rib cage down, that creates more support for your diaphragm. Your diaphragm then can be used more effectively, and that also stimulates a nerve to calm you down. The more you suck up that gut and throw that chest out, you're going to change your breathing mechanics. You're going to breathe in a fight or flight state for your breathing. It's going to ramp you up. It's going to tighten you up. Okay. So that's why if you are chest out, shoulders back, and you're sitting here and you're ramped up, and then you try to practice breath work while you're ramped up, it's not going to be as effective as if you get your body in the correct position first, then put your breath work, your breathing mechanics to match with that. Now everything's in coherence, and it can calm you down, and it can release muscles. Muscles release the joints. The impinging tissues that are hitting up against each other and telling you, ow, those can release.
Wow. That's and I'm listening to you, but it doesn't sound difficult at all. It just sounds like you need somebody to really tell you what to do. And of course, you studied how to do this and can help people. But that is so amazing, because I'm listening to you and I'm like, that goes against, like you were saying, like even with you, you're a doctor, and it went against everything you knew. And I'm thinking, because I've been on a choir and we've been taught, how to sit a certain way in order to make, open up our diaphragm. And it is that, kind of chest out, sit. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, that is really amazing. And thank you for kind of getting into the mechanics of all of that. So hopefully my listeners are taking notes with that and understanding that some of the things that we've been taught are not the best for us. Wow. Okay.
And it's hard because the stuff I talk about, it's kind of a little nitty gritty. And the reason I describe it is so people don't realize it's not woo woo. I love woo woo, but it's not woo woo. It's not just out here. You're just like, okay, what is she doing? Like, there's actually reasons why I teach this, and you don't have to understand it completely or know it completely. Some people like to know that,
Mm-hmm.
but just know that there is a basis for what I'm saying. I'm not just pulling it out of thin air.
And I think that's actually important to say. And the
Mhm.
reason why is because I've been in company, because I started when I was, feeling stressed out. I started learning about stress management, breathing
Mhm.
techniques, and all of that. And so that is something that I'm actually very interested in. And I was talking about it to a group of, friends, family that I was talking with. And they were kind of like, yeah, that doesn't, how does that work? That doesn't, like you're saying woo woo. It's like, what are you talking about? We breathe every day. What a,
I know. I
so
know.
yes. So I understand that completely, because people really don't understand how breathing can like help you center yourself and like you said, calm you down, just breathing in a certain way.
Mhm.
So wow, I need to become a student. I need to learn this myself. Also, another thing that, and this as far as the pain, another thing that we see often is kind of people dismissing pain because they're getting older.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I like me, I'm about to cross the 50 mark, and I'm having some pain, some pains here and there, and so, but what you say is it really doesn't have anything to do with your age. So can we talk about that?
So, and I say that with respect for everyone. I respect everyone's pain and what they're going through, but I want people to think about this a little bit differently. You go through life and you have certain stressors. Maybe you've had stressors as a kid, or you go into your 20s or even teens, you have stressors. Every time you have a stress, your body changes. We think about it as your cortisol levels go up, your adrenaline goes up, but your muscles actually change. Your muscles contract without your awareness. And over time, that adds up. And as you get older, it's more about the additive stresses to your body and to your mind and to your soul than it is about the actual chronological age. Because those stresses, every time you have one and the muscles change, it's pulling on your bone, so it changes slightly. And then it pulls some more, pull some more, pull some more. And we try to do things to help us get out of that, like a massage or movement or exercise. You're kind of moving your way back, but then you have stresses that pull you back out of kink again. And so then what happens is over time, if you fall into a certain pattern, you don't recognize it as you get older, then it's those muscles that have pulled you out of position that contributes to pain. Do you have arthritis? Do you have wear and tear? Everyone does. You can start getting that in your 20s and your teens. You can start having wear and tear. And arthritis is a degeneration of the cartilage. But that doesn't mean that's the source of your pain. And I've done this with so many people where they're scheduled for a joint replacement and they're bone on bone. X-rays show it, their doctors, they can feel it. But all you do is you get their body to calm down. The muscles release the abnormal tension, pain goes away. The bones go back into position. We didn't change their arthritis. They still have arthritis, but arthritis doesn't mean pain. It doesn't equate pain. Arthritis just means the surface of your bone, just the cartilage is degenerating. So a lot of times people go to a doctor, they have some kind of like knee pain or whatever. They have an x-ray and says, oh, it's bone on bone. You have arthritis. That's why you have pain. And I'll work with them and say, okay, let's calm down your nervous system. Let's get your rib cage back into position so your breathing calms you down, so that your muscles release around your hip and back. Your joint goes back to normal. They're out of pain. I haven't changed their arthritis. I didn't change their age. I changed their body's response to those stressors that added up over life. That's what. Do I have a minute to like give you a little example so I know?
Yes, please.
So let's say we're sitting here let's say I lift up a bucket of water, and I can lift up a bucket of water and I can feel my, my bicep muscle kicks in. I can drop the bucket of water down, the bicep muscle turns off. Let's say I lift up that bucket of water, and all of a sudden we hear a loud bang, and I jump. Okay. Let's say I think it's like a gunshot going on outside. Now I'm afraid. If I put that bucket of water down now, my bicep muscle that I was just talking about isn't going to fully relax because I'm tense because I'm afraid for my life. But the rest of the muscles in my body are tense as well. Now, I didn't think about that and voluntarily do that. That was my muscles contracting in response to a stressor. I'm giving an extreme example to make a point.
Mm-hmm.
My body's, the muscles contracted, that's called sympathetic tone. They contracted in response to that stressor of that noise, and I'm fearing for my life. Now, if I look out the window and I see, oh, that was a car backfiring. Oops. Okay. So I can now just clear myself mentally. I cleared myself emotionally and intellectually.
Wow.
I'm really safe. Now, if I don't pause my life and say, okay, body, let go of that sympathetic tone. If I don't do that, my nervous system will learn a new habit and keep me tense. And that's what happens is we don't pause at the end of our day or in midday and just release that sympathetic tone, that tension in our muscles. So the muscles go back into their resting position. Because we don't do that on a regular basis, we may clear our mind and emotion and soul from that mental stressor, from that stressor. But if we don't clear the physical body, we don't pause, and we're not taught how to do this, those muscles learn to contract. Now imagine you have a fight with a loved one, a fight with your boss. You have work that's done. You go and there's road rage on the road. You have a kid that's screaming. Like, think about all those stressors. How often do we clear our body from those daily stressors? We never do. We never do. So that tension that I was talking about that happened from that stressor, it doesn't go away from our body. And then if you've had trauma or abuse, it keeps going. And so that's why when you're 50 years old, 60 years old, 70 years old, you're like, oh, I have this shoulder pain, I have this back pain. It's highly likely from those stressors that added up over your life that we didn't have the skills to clear.
Dr. Amy, this is like transformational. Like, I'm listening to you. I am so serious. I'm like, wow, everything you're saying is making perfect sense. Mm-hmm. It's making perfect sense, but who has ever thought? I haven't thought about that ever. These things that are stressing me out are actually causing, my muscles to behave in a certain way and causing me more pain. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Wow, this is really good. I hope you guys are listening. Like, I'm excited for my listeners because this is really great information. So, joint pain, because you were actually talking about joint pain, and you were talking about this arthritis. So I'm glad that you kind of cleared that up, because people blame everything on arthritis, and to know that is not the case, and we can actually not be in pain and even having arthritis, like I said, transformational information. So you were talking about these orthopedic surgeries. So I know, the arthritis is one thing where people, like we were talking about, they'll say they need surgery. What other things have you helped people out of with this method?
Yeah, so besides arthritis, sometimes disc herniations, rotator cuff tears, or different fractures, where someone's had a fracture and they didn't have to be stabilized, but then they had some issues with it. Just various different other neck surgeries as well. Sometimes like trigger fingers in the hand. People will get it where their finger just kind of triggers. So I've helped people a lot of times. One of the main treatments is going in and doing a surgery to release the tendon. And If we can work on calming the nervous system down to release the forearm muscles, the finger stops triggering. So there's a lot of different ways. Back pain's a big one, is just getting people out of back pain so they can avoid that surgery. Because what often happens, if you think about what surgery does, it goes in there and it cuts things out and creates space. Now, the reason why you have decreased space is because the bones have shifted position or the tissues have shifted position, and they've shifted position because the muscles have done that to them. Well, what controls that? Your nervous system. So if you change the nervous system, that changes the way the muscles behave. The muscles behave differently on the joints regain space. Voila, you don't need to have surgery.
Wow.
It takes time. It's a process, and someone has to be ready for it. So there are people out there who want the quick fix just like that, want the surgery, say, cut me open, create the space. And I'm like, okay, that's what you want. I will support you on it. That's fine. If that's your goal, that's your dream, that's your process, that's okay. But the thing I do have to say is be careful, because just because you cut out space and you had this surgery, guess what? You didn't change the nervous system.
Mm.
The muscles still behave the same way on this newly created space. So you still need to do some nervous system work to change the muscles. This is why so many people who have a major surgery, a couple years later, they have another surgery because they haven't changed the way their body behaves, and the space that was created by the surgery wasn't enough. Or they have, like if they had a knee surgery, they often have a opposite side hip surgery because it wasn't enough. Or they have a back surgery, then they have to have one above or below. The muscles are still pulling the same way. They're still behaving the same way. So I'm supportive whatever someone's journey is, but I just want to educate people, really consider changing your nervous system alongside whether or not you decide to have surgery or not.
Right. Wow. And you named some of the big ones. Rotator cuff, the back, knee, the shoulder, is a hard one because it really affects it, really all of them. All the ones you named, they really, in the intro, I was talking about that quality of life. They really affect your quality of life as far as being able to just move around, do things, have fun, pain free. So, yeah, that's life changing if you could get rid of that and not have to be cut on and undergo surgery that does not work. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So you actually kind of traveled around the world with this method. So tell us about that, because you've been getting around showing people how to change and improve their quality of life.
Yeah, so right now I speak in the US, so I go to different events. Like next week I'm going to the Paleo FX conference in Austin, and I'll be speaking there and leading people in a workshop, so to help people kind of go through this process. I speak at different events, going to um, Vermont after that, and then I'll be down in Belize after that. So just I help people in different areas, but I also when I was first hired, before I formed my own company, I was traveling to keep a guy out of a knee replacement surgery and rotator cuff surgery. So I was going around the world with him to coach him on these things as he was traveling to the Arctic and the Antarctica and different places. So
Wow.
I've literally been all over the world. Africa is the only continent I haven't been to, and I'm hoping to get there soon. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's
Wow,
for
that's amazing. So when you do these conferences, how can people kind of follow you and maybe, hear you speaking? And I have a question personally for myself, because I'm like, do you give examples or consultations? Tell us about that, because I'm sure people are listening and they're like, how can I, get that kind of help? I need that kind of help.
Right. So I do 15-minute consultations, free consultations, just to kind of talk to people and see what exactly their needs are. If they just want free resources, I have YouTube videos or interviews. They can go through that, or if they need one-on-one help, then we can look at that too. And later this summer in July, I'm launching a group course. So that way, people, if they can't afford to work with me one on one, then we'll be doing more of a cohort where I guide people through the process. So it'll be me actually going through and guiding them through the process. It's going to be in a group setting, but it's a little bit more affordable that way. Since I don't do the insurance route, this is all coaching and everything is one-on-one and personalized. So I'm trying to find ways to meet everyone's needs, whether it's a free resource or a step up from that versus one-on-one. But the best way to find out some of that information is through my website, PABR Institute.com. So you can go there, you can get on my email list. You can also send me a direct message if you want to have a chat with me or find out what's going on in my world.
Yes. So I advise anybody, if you have any sort of pain, I would be following Dr. Amy, especially knee, joint pain, all that sorts of stuff. That's amazing. This little time has gone. It's 6:32 and it's gone fast, but I just really want to thank you. You really offered some amazing information for our listeners, and you guys need to check Dr. Amy out, because I know I am. That sounds amazing. I want to thank you, Dr. Amy, for just coming on and just sharing with us. It has been really great.
Thank you. I really appreciate your time, your generosity with allowing me to speak to your audience to try to help out. So thank you for what you do. You're an amazing host, and all of your listeners are very blessed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You guys, look, a hand for Dr. Amy. That's what I want to do. I wish I had a clapping sound effect. Thank you, Dr. Amy, again. You guys, it's been a great show with my guest, Dr. Amy. I'm so happy that she came on the show today. If you guys missed any of that, please go back, listen to the replay. Don't forget to share the episode, because this is really great information. It is really tough when you have knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, to just have, like we were talking about, a decent quality of life. So if there is a way that you can get rid of that without surgery, that is definitely something I'm looking into myself, honestly. So until next time, guys, make sure you join us every second and fourth Friday. We are here having amazing guests just like Dr. Amy on. Make sure you join us on the next show in 2 weeks on Friday. So it has been amazing. You guys are awesome. And until next time, guys, stay boss.